Listen to me carefully. This message is not for everyone. It is for the one who has been crying in secret, wondering when the drought will end. It is for the person who has been faithful, yet nothing seems to move. It is for the one who has given, served, waited, and still finds themselves standing in the valley of lack. I came to declare something today. God is about to shock your bank account. Yes, I said it. Not just bless it, not just increase it. God is about to shock it. What's coming will make you tremble with awe, because it will be far beyond anything you could have imagined, calculated, or planned for. There comes a time in every believer's journey when heaven decides, enough waiting. A time when God looks at your persistence, your prayers, your faith that refused to die, and says, no, you have entered that moment. You may not feel it yet, but the atmosphere around your life is shifting. God has been silently preparing a sudden overflow. The same account you've watched remain empty will soon be filled with divine surprises. The same hands that have written checks in faith will soon receive deposits that make no logical sense. God is moving, not in small ways, but in supernatural ones. When God shocks your bank account, He doesn't just add numbers. He adds meaning. He adds purpose. He adds favor that cannot be earned. Because true prosperity is not random, it's strategic. God blesses the person whose heart He can trust. That is why He allowed the delay. He was building your character to match your blessing. He was teaching you to depend on Him so that when the miracle came, you would never mistake it as your own doing. The famine trained you for the feast. The lack taught you the language of gratitude. The struggle positioned you to appreciate what's coming. Do not misunderstand this moment. You are not being punished by your problems. You are being prepared by them. God never wastes a test. Every empty wallet, every declined transaction, every painful no, was a setup for what He is about to release. Some of you think God forgot your seed, but He didn't. The seed you planted in tears is about to produce a harvest in laughter. You've been asking, when God? How long? And God is saying, now. You have stepped into divine timing. Heaven's bank is about to transfer something into your life that the world cannot explain. When God decides to shock your bank account, He doesn't use human systems. He uses favor. He uses people you least expect. He opens doors that weren't even on your map. He whispers your name in rooms where you've never been. He causes opportunities to locate you by divine GPS. You don't chase blessings anymore. Blessings begin to chase you. What used to be difficult suddenly becomes easy. The things you prayed for begin to find their way to your address. Because when God shocks your bank account, it is not a normal transaction. It's a divine announcement that your wilderness season is over. Do you know why your struggle was so intense? Because the blessing that's coming is greater than the pain you endured. God never allows you to go through financial emptiness without a reason. He uses the dry season to break pride, to reveal motives, and to train your spirit to rely on Him completely. That's why when the breakthrough comes, you will know it was God and God alone. Not a man, not luck, not chance, but divine orchestration. You will stand there looking at your account your business, your opportunities, and whisper, only God could have done this. The moment you shift your mindset from scarcity to faith, everything begins to move. God responds to faith, not fear. If you keep saying, I'll never make it, your words create the walls that trap your future. But when you start saying, God is about to shock my bank account, you are speaking in alignment with heaven's will. The power of your confession is the key that unlocks your provision. What you say determines what you see. Speak abundance even when you feel broke. Speak overflow even when your pockets are empty. Because faith is not about seeing first, it's about declaring until you see. Some of you are one act of obedience away from your financial breakthrough. God may be telling you to release something small so He can trust you with something big. Don't resist the test. When you hold on too tightly to what you have, you block what God is trying to send. The hand that gives is the hand that receives. God cannot fill a closed fist. That's why your generosity matters. Not because God needs your money, but because He's training your spirit to let go. Every time you release something by faith, you're saying, God, I trust you more than my balance. That's when the floodgates begin to open. You have to understand, money is spiritual. It's not just numbers. It carries energy, intention, and obedience. When your money is aligned with God, it multiplies. When it's not, it drains. Some people keep losing wealth because their heart is disconnected from divine purpose. But when you make God the center of your resources, He becomes the multiplier. You will give and still increase. You will sow and still overflow. Because your source is not the job, not the client, not the salary. It is God Himself. And when your source is unlimited, your supply will never run dry. Look at your life. You've survived seasons where you should have gone under. Bills that didn't make sense somehow got paid. Debts that seemed impossible suddenly disappeared. That wasn't luck. That was God. You are a living testimony of divine provision. And if God sustained you in lack, how much more will He bless you in abundance? The same God who kept you afloat will now cause you to overflow. You didn't come this far to stay where you are. You are standing on the edge of a financial explosion orchestrated by the hand of God. Get ready for unexpected credits, for sudden approvals, for doors you didn't apply for. Get ready for contracts that find you, for opportunities that chase your name. Get ready for checks that surprise you, for ideas that produce rivers of income. God is not limited by your education, your background, or your environment. When He decides to bless you, nothing can stop Him. He can use the most unlikely channels to bring you increase. He can use a phone call, a random message, a forgotten investment, a divine connection, because God's ways are not our ways. This is not about greed. This is about purpose. God doesn't bless you just to make you comfortable. He blesses you so you can become a channel. You are a vessel of divine resources. When God shocks your bank account, it's not so you can boast, but so you can bless. You will feed families, fund visions, build futures, and lift lives. Your overflow will become someone else's answered prayer. That is the secret of divine increase. When God can trust you to be a river, not a reservoir. The more you release, the more He refills. Many of you are about to experience restoration. The years of loss, of stolen opportunities, of missed chances, God is about to repay them in one sweep of His hand. He will compress time for your sake. What you couldn't achieve in 10 years, He will give you in 1. Because when God steps into your finances, acceleration begins. You will move from not enough to more than enough, from scraping by to soaring high. And when people ask, "How did this happen?" you will simply smile and say, "God did it." But hear me clearly. Before God shocks your bank account, He shocks your mindset. You cannot enter overflow with a poverty mentality. You cannot expect millions while speaking defeat. You must start thinking like someone who's already blessed. The moment you begin to act, plan, and speak like abundance is your normal, you invite it into your world. God doesn't fill empty wishes, He fills prepared vessels. Get ready. Clean your accounts, organize your plans, and build your vision boards, and prepare your spirit for increase. Because when the miracle comes, it will require management. There are seasons when God hides your blessing to test your faith. But when He decides to reveal it, He does it publicly. He doesn't just restore quietly, He restores loudly. People who once mocked your struggle will have to watch your promotion. Those who said, "You'll never make it," will see your rise and be silenced by your results. Because when God blesses, He blesses openly. Your story will become a living sermon of divine provision. And you will say, "Truly, God remembers those who trust Him." Some of you are about to experience divine coincidences, meetings that seem random, but are perfectly timed by God. You will meet someone who becomes the link to your next level. You will receive a message that changes your financial destiny. You will stumble into an opportunity that feels too good to be true. But it's God's way of saying, "I've remembered you." When God decides to favor you, everything starts to cooperate. People, systems, timing, even nature itself. All creation begins to align with your miracle. You've carried the pain long enough. The wilderness season has expired. God is turning your scarcity into surplus, your struggle into story, your poverty into purpose. You will look back on this time and realize that every delay was divine. Every closed door was protection. Every no was redirection. God was never late. He was preparing the perfect moment to shock you. And now, that moment is here. Expect divine surprises in your finances. Expect sudden favor. Expect the unusual. When you wake up, declare it. God is about to shock my bank account. When you go to bed, whisper it again. Keep your spirit in expectation. The atmosphere of faith is the birthplace of miracles. What you believe consistently, you will experience tangibly. Stop doubting and start thanking God in advance. Thank Him for the checks you haven't seen yet. Thank Him for the contracts not yet signed. Thank Him for the favor already forming. Gratitude opens the gate for abundance to enter. You are not broke, you are being built. You are not empty, you are being expanded. God is stretching you so He can fill you with more. Every struggle you endured was enlarging your capacity. Now you're ready. Heaven is releasing resources in your direction. What once felt like survival will now feel like overflow. What once was lost will now become legacy. This is your time. God is about to shock your bank account, not just with money, but with meaning, with stability, with freedom. Hold this truth in your heart. Your future is wealthier than your past. Your next chapter will not look like your last. God is not finished. He is just getting started. The same hands that struggled to pay bills will soon sign contracts that bless nations. The same lips that cried in frustration will soon testify in amazement. And when it happens, don't forget, it wasn't luck, it wasn't man, it was God. Your obedience is about to be rewarded. Your faith is about to produce fruit. Your persistence is about to pay off. Heaven has seen your seed, heard your prayer, and recorded your faithfulness. And now, the divine command has been given. Release the blessing. Prepare your heart, align your spirit, and keep your hands open. Because very soon, when you check that account, you will gasp, fall silent, and whisper, "This must be God." Listen closely, for this next moment in your spirit will not be ordinary. There is a divine wind moving even now. God is preparing to place something in your hands that will make every struggle worth it. You see, when God decides to change your financial story, He does it in a way that no one can take credit for. This is not about a promotion. This is not about a business idea. This is not about chance. This is about divine orchestration. God Himself will rewrite the economy of your life. He will shift what looked like nothing into more than enough. You have cried long enough. Now God says, "Watch me multiply what they said was finished." There are people who laughed at your faith, who mocked your prayers, who questioned your giving, who thought your hope was foolish, but they are about to witness the undeniable hand of God upon your finances. When God blesses you, He does not ask for permission. He does not check with your past or consult your background. He simply moves, and when He moves, nothing can stop Him. The doors that once refused to open will now swing wide without effort. The clients who once ignored your calls will now pursue you. The land you thought was beyond reach will soon bear your name. When God favors you, the laws of scarcity lose their power. But let me tell you something deeper. God's blessing is not only about wealth in numbers. It is about the expansion of your capacity. Before God fills your account, He fills your mind. Before He entrusts you with provision, He transforms your perspective. That's why the testing was long, because God was building you into a vessel that could hold abundance without pride, without fear, and without forgetting Him. Some people receive wealth and lose their wisdom. But when God is your foundation, wealth becomes worship. You will handle increase with reverence, not arrogance. You will see money as a servant, not a master. Many of you are stepping into a season of divine creativity. God is about to drop ideas into your spirit. Ideas that will carry the power to change your life forever. You will wake up with concepts that can create income streams. You will find yourself thinking thoughts that seem beyond your education, beyond your experience, beyond your environment, because they are not from you, they are from God. These are heaven-birthed ideas, and when you act on them, they will open financial gates that have been shut for years. God is about to anoint your imagination. When the hand of God rests on you, even small things begin to multiply. A single seed can become a forest. A single opportunity can create generational wealth. You must not underestimate what God can do with the little that remains. Remember, it is not about the size of what you hold, but about the size of the blessing that breathes upon it. God does not need millions to make you a miracle. He only needs your faith. If you will believe that He can turn your handful into a harvest, you will see it happen. God specializes in starting small and finishing great. Now, understand this truth: wealth does not flow toward confusion. It flows toward clarity. God will not pour into a vessel that has no direction. You must write down your vision, your goals, your plans. Align them with divine wisdom. When you show God that you are ready to steward increase, He will not withhold it. Many have prayed for abundance, but are not prepared for responsibility. Preparation is proof of expectation. Get your affairs in order, because what's coming will require structure. If your foundation is weak, the weight of the blessing could crush you. But if your foundation is firm, the flood of provision will lift you higher. There are seasons when God hides your provision until your character matures. Some of you were asking for financial increase while still holding on to habits that destroy increase. God delayed the blessing not to deny you, but to deliver you from what would have sabotaged it. He had to purify your motives, cleanse your hands, align your heart. Because when He blesses you this time, it will not come with sorrow. It will come with peace. The kind of peace that says, I no longer chase, because God provides. Be careful how you speak in this season. Your words are seeds. The universe listens to the language of faith. Speak as if your account is already overflowing. Speak as if the miracle has already been released. Because when your words align with God's promise, your world begins to shift. Stop speaking lack. Start declaring abundance. Stop saying, I can't afford it. Start saying, God will provide it. The moment your tongue agrees with divine intention, the heavens begin to act on your behalf. You must also understand that sometimes God will shake your financial situation before He blesses it. He will allow certain doors to close so that you can stop depending on the wrong sources. You may lose a job, but gain a purpose. You may lose a contract, but gain a calling. You may lose people, but gain clarity. The shaking is not punishment, it is alignment. God is breaking attachments that limit your flow. When the shaking ends, you will see why it was necessary. The structures that once drained you will be replaced with streams that sustain you. Do not fear the unknown, because God is already there. He walks ahead of you into every opportunity. He inspects every door before you knock. He examines every transaction before you sign. You will not be deceived in this next season, because divine discernment will be your guard. You will know which opportunities are from God and which are distractions in disguise. Your spirit will sense the difference between prosperity that lifts you and wealth that traps you. God will give you wisdom that protects your harvest. When the divine hand of blessing rests upon you, even the timing of your actions becomes perfect. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. speaking to the right person. You will call someone just as they were thinking of blessing you. You will arrive somewhere at the precise moment opportunity opens. This is not coincidence, this is providence. When God decides to favor you, He synchronizes your steps with success. Listen, wealth without wisdom destroys, but wealth with divine purpose transforms. God is not about to make you rich, just to make you comfortable. He is about to make you a vessel of impact. Your abundance will feed orphans, build dreams, restore dignity, and shift generations. You will use your wealth to break cycles of poverty and despair. This is why the blessing is coming with such power, because God trusts your heart. He knows that you will not forget the source when you receive the supply. There will come a day soon when you will look at your life and realize that everything changed when you decided to believe that God could shock your bank account. That belief ignited heaven's movement, because belief is not passive. It is active energy. It pulls unseen realities into visible form. When you believe with conviction, you give permission for heaven to invade your circumstances. Faith is not fantasy, it is partnership. When your faith meets God's power, impossibilities collapse. I see you walking into a season where money will no longer control your emotions. You will no longer panic at bills or stress over deadlines. You will operate from peace, knowing that God is your provider. You will manage resources with confidence, not fear, because you will understand that true wealth is not the number in your account, it is the peace in your soul. And when peace becomes your foundation, prosperity becomes your companion. Let me tell you something powerful. God does not bless laziness. He blesses diligence. When you put your hands to work with faith, God multiplies your effort. This is the moment to act, to move, to build. Start the project, write the proposal, launch the business, send the message. Faith without movement is empty. God cannot multiply what you refuse to plant. The same God who gives the vision will give the provision, but He expects you to start walking. As you move, resources will appear. As you act, favor will locate you. Be careful not to compare your journey with others. God's timing for you is unique. While some may seem ahead, your breakthrough may be hidden in the process. A fruit that ripens early spoils quickly, but one that matures in season nourishes deeply. God has been ripening your miracle in secret. The wait was not delay, it was preparation. And when it comes, it will last. You won't just have wealth, you'll have stability. You won't just have increase, you'll have longevity. Because God builds for eternity, not for applause. There is also something powerful happening in the unseen. Debts being erased, systems being shifted, names being spoken in high places. God is aligning resources for your sake. Someone right now is planning to favor you without even knowing why. Papers are being signed, opportunities are being positioned, ideas are being conceived, all to fulfill what God promised you. You are about to walk into answered prayers that were sent years ago, but were waiting for divine timing. Do not be surprised when people you never expected begin to bless you. God uses vessels, not always the ones you anticipate. He can use strangers to deliver your blessing. He can use institutions to honor you. He can use even your enemies to fund your destiny. Because when God commands favor, it obeys. It doesn't negotiate, it manifests. Your name is being whispered in rooms of decision. Your work is being remembered by those in authority. Your faith is being rewarded by the one who sees everything. Now hear this truth deep in your spirit. What God is about to do in your finances is not just addition, it is multiplication. He is about to accelerate your growth. The numbers will not rise gradually, they will leap. The opportunities will not trickle, they will flood. The provision will not be partial, it will be overwhelming. God is about to shift your financial level so drastically that even you will have to take a moment to catch your breath. You will stare at the numbers and whisper, "This cannot be real." But it will be real because God has decided that it is your time. You are not here by accident. This message is your confirmation. God has seen your faith, your tears, your perseverance. He has watched you sow when you had little, give when you were tired, and trust when nothing made sense. Now He is responding. He is about to move so powerfully that even your enemies will admit that something divine is happening. You will not need to defend your faith. Your results will speak for you. Stay humble when the abundance comes. Remember that wealth is a tool, not a throne. The more God blesses you, the lower your heart must bow in gratitude, because gratitude keeps the flow alive. The moment pride enters, the stream begins to dry. But when humility governs your heart, God keeps pouring. You will become a living testimony of divine generosity. Someone whose life proves that obedience to God produces supernatural results. My friend, hear me with your heart, not just your ears. You are standing at the edge of a divine turning point. What has looked like stagnation is not the end. It is the quiet before breakthrough so great that even you will not be able to explain it. God has been working behind the curtain of your circumstances, arranging every detail, aligning every opportunity, and preparing every resource. He has been silent because He has been strategic. He has been invisible because He has been intentional. The delay was never denial, it was divine design. The hands of heaven are now moving in your favor. There are moments in life when God tests how much you truly trust Him. When your account is empty, when every door seems closed, when you've done everything right and still see no results, that's when your faith is weighed. Those moments are not meant to break you, they are meant to build you. Because before God trusts you with abundance, He must see if you can still praise Him in the absence. Can you still give thanks when the bills pile up? Can you still believe when you can't see the outcome? If you can remain steadfast in those moments, you are ready for what is coming. God blesses those who trust His timing more than their feelings. God is not limited by your salary, your job, or your background. He can shift your financial destiny in a single moment. He can turn one connection, one conversation, one phone call into a fountain of increase. But here's the secret. He does it when your heart is free from fear. Fear blocks favor. Worry stops the flow. The moment you let go of anxiety and start believing that God is your ultimate provider, you create space for miracles. Faith is not just believing that God can do it. Faith is knowing that He will. When your spirit settles in that certainty, everything around you begins to align. There are people right now who are living testimonies of this truth. They once had nothing, yet one divine moment changed everything. God took their obedience, their faith, their humility, and turned it into abundance. The same God who did it for them is about to do it for you. He is not partial. He is not selective. He honors principles. And the principle is simple. When you put your trust in Him, He releases provision. The same wind of blessing that lifted others is about to lift you. Sometimes God allows your bank account to run dry so you can learn that He is not your last resort. He is your only source. When every human option fails, when every system closes, when every backup plan falls apart, that's when you finally discover the power of divine supply. And when you reach that point, something in you shifts. You stop chasing money, and money starts chasing you. You stop begging, and you start attracting. Because now your faith is rooted not in numbers, but in God. You see, wealth without peace is a curse. Many people have money but no rest. They build empires but lose sleep. They gain possessions but lose purpose. But when God blesses you, He adds peace with it. You will have wealth and wisdom, abundance and alignment. You will not only have things, you will have meaning. You will not just survive, you will thrive. And your heart will remain anchored in gratitude. That is the kind of blessing that lasts. The coming blessing is not for you to spend recklessly. It's for you to build strategically. God is about to fund your assignment. The ideas you've carried in silence, the dreams you've buried under pressure, the visions you've been afraid to speak, those are not fantasies. They are blueprints from God. And when He releases provision, it's not just so you can buy more, it's so you can build more. Build lives, build legacies, build light where there was darkness. The resources coming your way are for kingdom work. To heal, to help, to restore. When God blesses you, He expects you to multiply the blessing. You are not just called to be a receiver, you are called to be a distributor. The divine economy functions through flow, not hoarding. What you release determines what returns. The more you give, the more God entrusts you with, because every time you let go of what's in your hand, you give Him permission to fill it again. Don't close your hands in fear. Keep them open in faith. Because open hands receive open heavens. You are about to witness God move through unconventional means. Expect income from places you never considered. Expect favor from people you never met. Expect opportunities that don't follow your resume. God is not restricted to logic. He operates through divine creativity. He can make your name known in high places without you ever promoting yourself. He can breathe life into an idea you thought was forgotten. He can use your smallest effort to produce your largest breakthrough. Because when His blessing breathes on your work, results multiply without effort. So I say to you now, expect the unexpected, expect the sudden, expect the impossible. God is not bound by human laws. He can cause a system to change for your sake. He can cause a policy to be rewritten because of your name. He can make a path appear in the desert. What looks empty to you is full to Him. You see a bank account, God sees a future. You see lack, God sees potential. You see delay, God sees timing. His perspective is higher, His plans are deeper, and His promises are sure. The time for fear is over. The time for small thinking is done. Lift your faith higher. Walk like someone who is already blessed. Speak like someone who knows that the Creator of all things has chosen to favor you. Live as if you already have the overflow, because in the realm of faith you do. What you believe consistently, you will eventually see physically. God is about to shock your bank account, not for vanity, but for victory, not for pleasure, but for purpose, not for status, but for stewardship. Get ready, because the same God who sustained you in lack is about to surprise you in abundance. There are moments in life when your silence speaks louder than your words. Moments when the noise of the world fades and the only sound left is the beating of your heart in rhythm with God's will. My friend, hear me clearly. God sometimes brings you to a place where He demands your silence, not as a punishment, but as a preparation. Because before a miracle unfolds, before divine power manifests, there must be a stillness that allows His hand to move freely. You cannot talk your way into a miracle. You must trust your way into it. When God is about to do something great in your life, He often leads you into a season where you can say nothing, explain nothing, defend nothing. You will feel misunderstood, misjudged, and unseen. But in that silence, God is working in ways you cannot comprehend. The silence is not the absence of activity. It is the sacred ground where heaven begins to rearrange the details of your destiny. The silence is where God breathes life into what once seemed dead. You see, when you talk too soon, you interfere with divine timing. When you speak prematurely, you reveal what heaven is still forming. God wants you silent, not because He wants you powerless, but because He wants His power to speak for you. Many people fail to receive their miracle because they cannot stay silent long enough for God to finish His work. They pray for breakthrough, but their mouths contradict their prayers. They believe in promise, yet they complain in process. You cannot ask God to open a door and then speak doubt into the hallway. Your words are seeds, and when you speak in impatience, you uproot what God is trying to grow in silence. There is a reason why God told the people of Israel to walk around the walls of Jericho in silence. For 6 days they said nothing. They didn't complain about the size of the wall. They didn't question the strategy. They didn't talk about their fear. They walked, they waited, and they trusted. And when the time came, when God said, now, the walls fell. Not because of their shouting alone, but because of their obedience in silence before the shout. The silence built the faith. The silence strengthened the spirit. The silence proved they trusted the unseen hand of God. When you are silent, you give space for heaven to speak. God's whisper cannot be heard over the noise of your fear. He cannot plant wisdom in a mind that's crowded with worry. Silence is not weakness. It is spiritual discipline. It is the posture of those who trust that God is not late, not absent, not unaware. He is moving. He is preparing. He is aligning the impossible become possible. God never works in noise. The seed grows in silence. The sun rises without announcement. The stars shine without applause. Miracles are born in moments of stillness. Do not mistake God's silence for His absence. When heaven is quiet, it is often because God is designing something too powerful for your immediate understanding. You may not see it yet, but He is setting the stage for your transformation. You may not hear it yet, but He is orchestrating the sound of your victory. Every silent season is an unseen construction site of destiny. God is building behind the scenes. When you stay silent, you cooperate with His timing. You surrender your control. You say, God, I trust your plan more than my emotions. That is where faith becomes mature. Not in shouting, but in silence. Silence is not passive, it is powerful. It is where you wrestle with your own impatience and choose to rest in divine order. It is where your heart says, even if I don't understand, I will still trust. God tests you through silence to see if your faith depends on feelings or on His promises. He watches to see if you can still believe when you hear nothing. Because faith that survives silence is faith that commands miracles. Sometimes God hides you in silence because He is protecting what He is producing. There are people who cannot handle the size of what He is about to give you. If you speak too soon, you expose your promise to unnecessary attack. The enemy cannot destroy what he does not know. That's why God shields your miracle in silence. He covers it until it's strong enough to stand. You may think God forgot you, but He is really preserving you. He is letting your roots grow deep before your branches rise high. He is allowing you to be unseen so that when you are revealed, no man can take credit for what only God could do. There is a divine power in saying nothing when everything inside you wants to explain. You don't have to defend yourself when you know God is your defender. You don't have to prove your worth when God already chose you. The moment you decide to stay silent in the face of misunderstanding, you elevate from human reasoning to divine trust. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them judge. While they speak, you stay still. Because silence invites God to speak louder through results than you ever could through words. The greatest miracles are not shouted into existence. They are silently conceived in faith. When Sarah laughed in disbelief, God said nothing immediately. But when the time came, when the silence had done its work, the child of promise was born. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, heaven said nothing. When he was sold, imprisoned, forgotten, silence. Yet in that silence, God was shaping him for greatness. When the time was right, He raised him to power, and every silent tear turned into a divine appointment. You must understand, silence is God's classroom for destiny. When you complain, you close the door to revelation. But when you are silent, you open the window for God's wisdom. Sometimes you do not need to say, why? You just need to whisper, yes. Because God is not obligated to explain Himself to you. His silence is not rejection, it is strategy. If He told you everything, you would not need faith. So He hides His methods to strengthen your trust. The miracle will not come through noise, it will come through obedience. You don't need to announce your faith to everyone. You need to anchor it deep within your soul. You need to wake up and say, God, even if I hear nothing today, I will still believe. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains. Because silence before the miracle is not emptiness. It is expectation. It is the pause before the divine symphony begins. It is the calm before heaven releases what you've been praying for. You may feel like your prayers are echoing back unanswered, but I tell you, God is listening more in your silence than in your shouting. He hears the tears you never cried aloud. He reads the pain you never spoke. He understands the battles you never explained. And He rewards those who can trust Him without needing to talk. Sometimes you must carry the promise quietly, like a mother carrying life in her womb. Nobody can see it yet, but you know something divine is forming inside. Every delay, every silence, every hidden season is evidence that the miracle is growing. The world values expression, but heaven values restraint. The world says, speak your truth. God says, be still and you will see mine. The world teaches noise. God trains you in stillness, because true strength is not shown in reaction. It is shown in restraint. The strongest person is not the one who always speaks, but the one who knows when to stay silent and let God act. Do not let your emotions speak louder than your faith. When you face a storm, silence the fear and let your faith whisper, God is in control. When people betray you, silence your anger and let your soul say, God is my vindication. When life becomes uncertain, silence your doubt and let your heart declare, God knows what He is doing. Every moment you choose silence over reaction, you build spiritual authority. You show heaven that you trust divine timing more than human opinion. If you study how God works, you will see that silence always comes before power. Before creation began, the universe was silent and formless. Then God spoke and life burst forth. Before great revelation, there is always great stillness. Before a new door opens, there is often a long pause. That pause is not wasted time, it is preparation time. God is aligning resources, moving people, opening pathways, adjusting hearts. You may not see it, but you will soon stand in the evidence of what your silence allowed Him to do. Don't speak against what God is still forming. Don't curse what heaven is still crafting. Keep your mouth shut and your faith loud in your heart. Because the enemy listens to your words, but he cannot read your faith. Protect your promise in silence. Guard your destiny in quiet obedience. Let God finish His work before you make your announcement. There will be a time to shout, but now is the time to stay still. There will be a time to testify, but now is the time to trust. You must master the art of divine silence. Learn to walk through seasons without needing everyone's understanding. Learn to wait without needing evidence. Learn to believe without needing confirmation. God's miracles are not birthed in noise, they are birthed in faith. The less you talk, the more you hear. The less you explain, the more you discern. The less you react, the more you receive. Because in silence, you make room for God to move freely, unhindered by your emotions or impatience. God does not rush. He is never early, never late. Always on divine time. The silence you hate is often the bridge between your prayer and your promise. God uses silence to separate the impatient from the faithful. Those who complain during silence are not ready for the miracle. Those who stay still and trust are the ones who will see it manifest. You cannot demand clarity from a God who is teaching you faith. Let the silence do its work. Let it humble your heart. Let it teach you patience. Let it train your spirit to rest. Some of the most powerful moments of your life will come when you say nothing and simply allow God to prove Himself. You don't need to announce what He told you. You don't need to prove what He promised. You just need to stay silent until the miracle speaks for itself. Because when God moves, it will speak louder than your words ever could. When the miracle happens, everyone will see. They will ask, "How did it happen?" And you will know. It happened in the silence. It happened when you stopped arguing. It happened when you stopped worrying. It happened when you stopped explaining. It happened when you surrendered. God's power flows into surrendered silence. There are times when silence becomes the strongest voice of faith. When you cannot see what God is doing. When every door appears locked and every prayer seems unanswered. The natural impulse is to speak, to ask, to reason, to question. But the Spirit within whispers, "Be still." Because silence is not just the absence of words. It is the declaration that you have surrendered to God's authority. It is your spirit saying, "I do not need to see, I do not need to understand, I only need to trust." Silence is faith in its purest form. It is the posture of the soul that says, "Even if I hear nothing, I believe everything." You see, there is a power that only flows in the quiet. God does not perform His greatest works in noise or chaos. He works in stillness, in the unseen, in the secret places of faith. The most miraculous transformations often happen in silence because silence removes human interference. When you stop explaining, God starts performing. When you stop defending, God begins proving. When you stop striving, God begins fulfilling. The silence is not a pause, it is a process. It is the womb of divine manifestation. Think of the seed buried deep in the earth. It does not announce its growth. It does not cry out for attention. It remains buried, unseen, uncelebrated. But in that darkness, God is working. He is breaking it, reshaping it, giving it new life. The roots are spreading even when the world sees nothing. That's how miracles grow, in hidden silence. And one day, when the season is right, that seed breaks through the soil. That moment of revelation was born from months of quiet transformation. So too are your miracles. God often hides your blessing in silence until it's strong enough to survive the light of exposure. Many people lose their miracle because they cannot handle God's timing. They speak too soon. They reveal too early. They act before the instruction is complete. But divine timing demands divine patience. The silence of God is not delay. It is design. He is orchestrating things in perfect alignment. He is removing the wrong people as positioning the right ones and crafting the perfect moment for His glory to be revealed. And while you wait, He is watching your heart. Will you complain or will you trust? Will you talk out of fear or will you stay silent in faith? When you are silent, you become sensitive to divine direction. You begin to hear what cannot be heard in noise. You begin to perceive what eyes cannot see. God's whispers are not meant for a distracted mind. They are reserved for a quiet heart. That is why those who master silence master divine communication. Because in the quiet, your spirit begins to understand things your intellect cannot. In the quiet, you begin to feel the movement of God shaping your destiny. The miracle begins not when you see the result, but when your heart aligns with His will in silence. Sometimes God silences you to humble you. He wants you to realize that not every battle requires your voice. Some victories come only through surrender. There are situations where you must stop explaining yourself to people and let God reveal the truth through outcome, not argument. Let them misunderstand you. Let them speak against you. You don't need to shout back when God Himself will vindicate you. The greatest revenge is not words. It is results produced by divine favor. Your silence becomes a weapon of faith when you know that God's justice is stronger than human judgment. When life becomes unbearable and you are tempted to speak from frustration, pause and remember. Your silence is an act of worship. It tells God that you trust Him even in confusion. It says, I will not let my emotions dictate my faith. When you speak out of pain, you release words that weaken your faith. But when you stay silent and look upward, you release power into the unseen. Silence becomes the bridge between your suffering and your strength. It is not weakness to stay quiet. It is wisdom. Because God fights for those who can wait without murmuring. Silence before a miracle is like the still air before a mighty storm. The atmosphere may look calm, but beneath it, pressure is building. The heavens are preparing to release something powerful. That's why God often commands stillness before manifestation. You may not feel movement, but heaven is stirring. You may not see progress, but divine pressure is forming the breakthrough. The silence you're in right now may be the sound of preparation, not absence. The moment God says, now, everything will shift at once. That is why you must remain silent until the miracle happens. Because one wrong word spoken in doubt can delay what has already been set in motion. Do you remember how God instructed His servant to build in silence? Many divine works are built without applause. God develops His greatest vessels in secrecy. He allows isolation not to punish you, but to prepare you. Silence is the school of trust, where the soul learns dependence. You cannot graduate into power until you have mastered the discipline of stillness. Because those who cannot be silent before God cannot handle the weight of His glory after the miracle. Silence refines you. It burns away pride, noise, and human reasoning. It molds you into a vessel fit for divine purpose. When God is silent, it is not that He is ignoring you. It is that He is teaching you. He is testing your endurance. He is observing whether your faith is rooted in results or in relationship. Anybody can believe when God is speaking, but only the mature can believe when God is silent. Only those anchored in trust can say, even when I cannot trace His hand, I know His heart. That level of faith attracts miracles because it shows that you trust God more than you trust your own understanding. If God allowed noise to accompany every miracle, the world would worship the process instead of the provider. That is why He moves quietly. That is why He hides His power in silence, so that when it unfolds, no man can claim credit. God alone will be glorified. Your silent endurance will speak volumes when the miracle comes to light. People will look at your life and wonder how you overcame without words, without help, without noise. And you will know because you trusted the silence. God's silence also exposes the noise within you. Sometimes the loudest voices are not outside, but inside, the fears, the doubts, the impatience. In silence, those voices rise to the surface so that God can silence them one by one. You cannot conquer what you do not confront, and you cannot confront what you cannot hear. So God brings you into silence to reveal your inner noise. He shows you the parts of yourself that must be surrendered before the miracle can arrive. Silence is purification. It detoxes the soul from fear and fills it with faith. When you choose silence, you choose alignment. You stop trying to force your way and allow God to make a way. You stop explaining your pain and begin listening for purpose. You stop speaking about the problem and start sensing the promise. The miracle does not need your words. It needs your trust. There are times when the miracle is so delicate that only silence can protect it. When a mother carries new life, she moves carefully. She doesn't announce too soon. She guards the life inside because it's sacred. That is how you must protect what God is growing in you. Some blessings are not meant to be discussed until they are delivered. If you talk too soon, you invite opinions that weaken your faith. Stay silent until the miracle has matured. God wants to birth something in you that cannot survive public opinion. It must be shielded by sacred silence. The silence is also where God anoints your spirit. The noise of the world drains you, but the stillness of God fills you. In the quiet, you feel His strength returning. In the quiet, peace becomes your companion. In the quiet, your heart begins to hear new instructions, new visions, new directions. Many people pray, but few listen. Yet prayer without listening is incomplete. The miracle requires both faith in asking and faith in waiting. God does not bless the noise of panic. He blesses the calm of trust. If you could see what God is preparing, you would understand why He commands your silence. The miracle ahead of you is too holy to be handled casually. It must be protected by reverence. When God told His servants in ancient times to be silent, it was not to suppress them, it was to sanctify them. Silence is sacred. It is how you separate yourself from the distractions of the world and align your frequency with heaven. You begin to hear divine instructions, not meant for the crowd, but for your calling. And when the miracle finally happens, it will be worth every silent night, every quiet tear, every unanswered question. Because when God reveals His plan, it will silence every doubt. When the blessing arrives, it will speak for itself. You won't need to explain how it happened. Those who see it will know it was the hand of God. And in that moment, you will realize that your silence was never empty. It was filled with divine activity. There comes a point in every believer's journey where words no longer have meaning, where explanations fall short and reasoning cannot satisfy the soul. It is there, in the quiet of the Spirit, that God draws near. It is there that He whispers, "Be silent, for I am working." You see, the human heart often seeks understanding before obedience. But divine wisdom says, trust before you understand. The silence God calls you into is not confusion, it is consecration. It is where your dependence shifts from your own logic to His limitless power. You will never witness the fullness of what God can do until you have learned to wait in the stillness of surrender. When God leads you into silence, it means He is about to perform something that human effort cannot accomplish. Your words might delay it, your impatience might distort it, but your silence will protect it. Because silence is not just the absence of noise, it is the atmosphere of faith. In that silence, you stop commanding and start receiving. You stop analyzing and start trusting. You stop moving ahead of God and begin walking in step with Him. Every miracle has a moment of stillness before manifestation. Before the dawn breaks, there is deep night. Before the river flows, there is still water. Before the promise blooms, there is quiet soil. Sometimes God keeps you silent so that you may learn to listen. You cannot hear divine instruction when your mind is occupied with human reaction. Many people pray for miracles, but cannot stop talking long enough to hear what God is saying. They speak out of fear, out of anxiety, out of desperation, and yet the voice of God requires calmness. The spirit that listens more than it speaks becomes a vessel of divine revelation. Silence before God is not emptiness, it is the posture of readiness. It says, "Speak, Lord, and I will obey." When you can remain silent in the face of confusion, you demonstrate spiritual maturity. It means you no longer need to see to believe. You believe because you know who God is. You know His history with you. You remember how He carried you through battles you never expected to survive. You remember how He turned shame into strength, pain into peace, and despair into direction. That same God is not silent because He forgot you. He is silent because He is building you. He is not ignoring you. He is instructing you through stillness. He is not delaying you. He is developing you. The silence of God is not a void. It is a voice that speaks through events, timing, and conviction. It is in silence that faith becomes purified from emotion. When the noise fades, what remains is the raw truth of your trust. Silence strips you of spiritual pretenses. It exposes whether you truly believe that God is enough. Anyone can say, "I trust God," when everything is visible. But when the doors close, when the heavens seem still, and when prayers seem unanswered, can you still say, "I know God is working"? That is where real faith lies. There is a divine beauty in being hidden by God. People may forget you, overlook you, or misunderstand your silence. But God hides those He intends to honor. When God is shaping a masterpiece, He covers it until it is ready. You are not being ignored. You are being refined. You are not being silenced. You are being shielded. He is protecting what He is producing. Because when the miracle comes, it will be undeniable. When God reveals you, no one will be able to deny that His hand was upon you. The silence before the miracle ensures that only God receives the glory after it manifests. Learn to stop defending what God will one day prove. You don't have to explain your faith to those who doubt. You don't have to justify your waiting to those who rush. You don't have to answer every accusation or clarify every misunderstanding. When you are silent, you are saying, my defense is in God's hands, and when He rises on your behalf, the same people who doubted you will witness His power through your life. Your silence becomes your sermon. Your restraint becomes your victory. Every delay is an invitation to deeper faith. Every unanswered prayer is an altar where patience is tested and trust is strengthened. God delays not to deny, but to deepen. He delays not to frustrate, but to fortify. When you wait silently, you build spiritual muscle. You train your heart to rest when the world screams, hurry. You prove to heaven that you trust divine timing more than your own schedule. And that kind of trust always precedes divine reward. The silence before your miracle is not wasted time. It is preparation time. God never wastes silence. He uses it to reorder your priorities, purify your motives, and strengthen your endurance. You see, miracles are not cheap. They require spiritual capacity. God will not release what you cannot carry. So in the silence, He enlarges your heart, sharpens your discernment, and tests your patience. Every minute of waiting adds weight to your character. Every unspoken word adds depth to your faith. And when the miracle finally arrives, you will realize why it took time, because you needed to grow into it. There is wisdom in being quiet while God works. The one who speaks too soon can ruin what heaven is still arranging. The wise soul knows that timing is everything. Even the most powerful truth must wait for its appointed moment. When you stay silent, you are saying to God, I trust your clock more than my calendar. You are saying, I don't need to rush what you are perfecting. And that level of faith releases supernatural favor, because heaven always honors trust that doesn't demand explanation. The silence before the miracle also teaches you separation. It reveals who belongs in your next season and who does not. When you go quiet, people begin to show their true colors. Those who cannot handle your silence are those who were never assigned to your purpose. God sometimes silences you to expose those who only walk with you when they can hear you. In silence, fake support fades and real faith remains. You begin to see who truly believes in you. Not because of what you say, but because of who you are. When you walk through the silent season, do not compare your pace with others. God's work in your life has its own rhythm. Others may be shouting about their progress, but your miracle may require secrecy. Some miracles are birthed in hidden places. What God is preparing for you may be greater than what others are celebrating now. Don't envy their noise. Stay faithful in your silence. Because when your moment comes, it will not need advertisement. It will carry its own announcement. There will come a moment when the silence breaks. And when it does, the sound will shake everything around you. The breakthrough will come suddenly. The doors will open effortlessly. The things that seemed immovable will fall in an instant. But until then, hold your peace. Keep your composure. Let God finish what He started. Because once the miracle is released, every quiet tear will make sense. Every night of stillness will be justified. Every unanswered prayer will be revealed as divine preparation. Silence also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not the source. You are the vessel. You are not the author. You are the recipient. The one who knows how to be quiet before God is the one who understands their dependence on Him. The proud cannot stay silent, for pride always demands to be heard. But humility finds comfort in silence, knowing that God's voice is worth more than human approval. The silent believer says, I do not need the world to see me. I only need God to see me. And when God sees you in secret, He rewards you in public. In the silence, learn to speak only to God in your heart. Whisper to Him your fears, your hopes, your surrender. Because when you speak to men, you may receive sympathy. But when you speak to God, you receive strength. God's silence to your words does not mean rejection. It means He is responding through circumstances. Look around. He may be answering you in ways words cannot capture. There will be times when your silence will confuse others, but remember, it is not their understanding that matters. It is your alignment with God's will. Let the world think what it wants. Your silence is between you and heaven. It is your secret language of faith. It is the space where divine mysteries unfold. And soon, when your miracle speaks, it will silence every doubt that ever surrounded you. So remain steadfast in your quiet trust. Keep your heart anchored in faith. For the silence you endure now is the foundation of the testimony you will one day share. When you finally stand on the other side of this season, you will not regret the silence. You will thank God for it, because in that silence, He strengthened you, taught you, refined you, and prepared you for blessings too great for words. There are moments in life when everything seems silent, when heaven appears still, and when your prayers seem to hang in the air with no reply. But listen to me. The silence of God is not His absence. It is the quiet preparation before the explosion of His favor. You may think nothing is happening, but God is arranging everything in a dimension your eyes can not yet see. His favor is about to shock you. Not gently bless you, shock you. When it comes, it will come like a wave that breaks every limitation, every fear, and every doubt that ever tried to cage you. There are seasons where God hides His hand to build your faith. But then suddenly, He reveals what He has been doing all along. You will realize that every delay had a purpose. Every tear was counted. Every closed door was protection. And every hardship was divine construction. God is about to do something that will leave you speechless, because His favor does not move according to your calendar. It moves according to His command. And when that command is released, no human, no power, and no demon can stop it. You may have been praying quietly, faithfully, wondering if God even noticed. But listen, God heard you the first time you called. He has been aligning people, shifting opportunities, moving hearts, and orchestrating outcomes that will bring glory to His name through your life. The reason the process felt long was because the blessing is great. The deeper the foundation, the taller the building. The greater your preparation, the greater the elevation. God's favor is never small. And when it comes with authority. It will raise you from a place of insignificance to a place of influence. Many people look for favor through human hands, but true favor is divine. True favor cannot be bought, influenced, or manipulated. It comes only from God. And when God chooses to favor you, He will make people notice you who previously ignored you. He will make doors open that once seemed permanently shut. He will cause opportunities to find you without you chasing them. You will realize that it was never about effort alone. It was about alignment with God's purpose. When your heart aligns with God's timing, miracles appear naturally. There are moments when you are tested, not to destroy you, but to shape your endurance for the coming elevation. God allows you to walk through seasons of obscurity to prepare you for visibility. He hides you so that you can be molded in silence before being revealed in power. Don't mistake isolation for rejection. It's preservation. God was keeping you away from distractions, away from wrong voices, away from those who could not handle the glory about to fall on your life. You were not forgotten. You were being refined for a moment of divine unveiling. You have cried and questioned, when will my time come? And I tell you, your time is coming sooner than you think. God's favor will not trickle. It will flood. What took others years to achieve, you will accomplish in months. What others struggled to obtain, God will place in your hands with ease. Because when God decides to favor you, He removes the natural limitations that hold others back. His favor accelerates destiny. His favor breaks protocol. His favor silences opposition. His favor makes the impossible possible. There are people who looked down on you when you had nothing. They spoke as though your story had ended. They assumed your silence meant defeat. But soon, the same people will watch in awe as God lifts you beyond their understanding. The same voices that mocked you will have to acknowledge that you were chosen, that you were being protected, that God Himself had His hand on your life. And when that day comes, you will not need to explain yourself. Your results will speak. God's favor will testify for you. Do not be surprised when blessings begin to come from directions you never expected. God is too wise to use predictable methods. He uses unlikely people, unexpected moments, and unfamiliar paths to deliver His favor. You will look back and realize that every closed door pushed you toward the right one. Every loss was the seed of a greater gain. Every disappointment was a setup for divine appointment. God never wastes pain. He never wastes waiting. He never wastes faith. The struggle you endured was the currency that purchased your breakthrough. You are standing on the edge of something supernatural. You may not feel it yet, but the spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting. What seemed stagnant is being stirred. What was blocked is being broken. What was delayed is being released. You are not just entering a new season, you are entering divine acceleration. God is not only answering your prayer, He is multiplying it. The blessing you receive will not just satisfy you, it will overflow into generations after you. His favor is generational, and when it lands on you, it marks your lineage. God is about to make you a living testimony of His power. Those who doubted your faith will witness your transformation. Those who laughed at your simplicity will be shocked by your elevation. But remember, favor is not given to glorify you. It is given to glorify God through you. Stay humble in your rise. Stay pure in your heart. And let your increase point people to the greatness of God. Because if you think your current blessing is big. You haven't seen anything yet. God's favor is layered. Once it begins, it keeps unfolding, each level greater than the last. There are times you have prayed and nothing seemed to move. You fasted and it felt as if heaven was closed. But listen carefully. God was not ignoring you. He was preparing circumstances to make your answer undeniable. There are blessings so significant that they require divine coordination. God has been moving pieces you cannot see, aligning timing you cannot comprehend, and setting you up for favor that will shock even you. When it happens, you will say, only God could have done this. The path to divine favor is often through divine discomfort. God allows challenges not to punish you, not to prepare you. He removes what is weak to make room for what is strong. He shakes what is unstable to build what is permanent. The reason your life felt unsettled is because God was making space for something greater. Do not despise the shaking. It means He's near. He is rearranging your reality so that His glory can rest upon it. Every delay, every detour, every denial was actually divine direction. You must understand that favor is not fair. It is not logical. It is not earned. It is chosen. God's favor chooses those who choose faith over fear. When you remained faithful in silence, you positioned yourself for sudden elevation. When you praised God in pain, you attracted His presence. When you refused to compromise your values in difficulty, you proved that your faith was genuine. And now, the reward of that hidden faith is about to manifest in the open. You will not need to announce it. God Himself will reveal it. Many people pray for favor, but are not prepared for the weight of it. Favor attracts both attention and opposition. When God lifts you, not everyone will celebrate you. But don't be discouraged. Their resistance is proof of your elevation. The higher you rise, the stronger the wind, but also the wider the view. God is enlarging your vision, expanding your influence, and increasing your capacity. He will not just bless you. He will transform you so that the blessing does not destroy you. The favor that is coming to you will not just change your finances, it will change your name. It will change how people perceive you, how opportunities respond to you, and how environments react to your presence. You will walk into rooms and find that things shift in your favor. You will speak, and your words will carry authority. Because when God favors someone, He places His own reputation upon them. Your victory becomes His testimony. Your success becomes His signature. There were times you felt overlooked. You saw others being blessed and wondered why your turn had not come. But what you did not realize is that God was saving the best for you. Some blessings come quickly, others are customized. God was tailoring your favor to fit your destiny perfectly. What is made for you cannot be taken by anyone else. No matter how long it takes, when it arrives, it will fit you flawlessly. You will not need to strive. It will simply align. God's favor will reach places your qualifications cannot. It will open doors that logic cannot explain. It will position you in places you did not apply for. It will bring people into your life who are divinely assigned to help you fulfill your purpose. This is the season where you will not chase blessings. Blessings will chase you. Because you have sought God first, He is now releasing what you could not produce by yourself. You will see sudden breakthroughs, unexpected calls, divine connections, and supernatural provision. Some of you have been through storms so fierce that you almost lost your faith. But that storm did not come to drown you. It came to reveal what you carry. You are stronger than you know, wiser than you believed, and more protected than you realized. God has been shielding you even when you thought you were alone. His angels have been surrounding you. His hand has been guiding you. His plan has been unfolding even in the midst of confusion. The favor about to locate you is not random, it is reward. The season of delay is ending. The season of manifestation is beginning. You have waited long enough, and now God is about to accelerate what was once slow. Expect sudden changes, not small ones, but drastic ones. Expect promotion where you were once rejected. Expect abundance where you once lacked. Expect peace where you once fought battles. Expect recognition where you were once ignored. Expect restoration where you once lost everything. Because when God's favor arrives, it restores, redeems, and rewards all at once. There will be moments when the magnitude of your blessing will overwhelm you. You will find yourself asking, "Why me?" And God will whisper, "Because you trusted me. You didn't give up when it was dark. You didn't turn away when it was silent. You didn't stop believing when it hurt. You held on. And that faith moved heaven. You may have thought your faith was small, but even a small seed in the hands of God becomes a forest of miracles. Now, that seed is ready to bloom. The harvest of your endurance is near. People will look at your life and not understand how everything turned around so suddenly. They will not see the tears you cried, the nights you prayed, the moments you almost quit. But God saw them, He recorded them, and He is repaying them. Every sacrifice is being returned with interest. Every loss is being resurrected with abundance. Every heartbreak is being healed with peace. God is a God of compensation, and when He repays, He overpays. When God decides to move, He moves beyond the limits of human understanding. The human mind cannot comprehend the speed or direction of His divine hand. Just when you think nothing is working, God turns everything upside down, or rather right side up. His ways are not the ways of men, and His methods often hide behind confusion until the revelation of His favor unfolds. What looks like chaos is often the precise calculation of divine order. You must learn to trust the process of mystery, for God's favor often travels through paths you would never choose. The same difficulty that tried to bury you was the soil that God used to grow you. The pain that threatened to break you became the very pressure that shaped your destiny. And when His favor appears, you will finally see why He allowed you to go through what others never had to face. There are moments when God will strip you of everything that once made you comfortable, not because He wants to harm you, but because He wants to shift your dependence entirely onto Him. When He removes your own strength, He replaces it with His own power. That is where true favor begins, when you stop relying on people, plans, and human wisdom, and you start resting completely in God's unseen hand. That is when doors you never knew existed begin to open. That is when people start to appear in your life carrying answers you did not even pray for. When God becomes your only source, everything else becomes a resource. Understand, this favor is not about chance, it is about divine choice. God selects those whose hearts remain faithful, even when life gives them no reason to be. You have been chosen not because of your perfection, but because of your perseverance. You didn't give up when others did. You continue to speak faith when your surroundings screamed doubt. You kept walking when the road was invisible. And because of that, God is about to turn what seemed like ashes into divine evidence of His presence in your life. The tears you shed in silence were not wasted. They watered the soil of your coming breakthrough. The reason you felt pressure lately is because something inside you is about to burst forth. God never allows pressure without purpose. The breaking you feel is not destruction, it is delivery. You are giving birth to a new dimension of your life, and the contractions are the signal that your time has come. When the favor of God arrives, it does not knock softly. It bursts in suddenly, unannounced, uninvited by man, but perfectly timed by heaven. You will see it, you will feel it, you will live it. You may have thought God forgot about your name, your dreams, or your prayers, but He has been whispering your name in places where your feet have not yet stepped. He has been positioning your blessings while you were still in waiting. He has been preparing hearts to favor you before you ever meet them. God's preparation is quiet but precise. While you were fighting invisible battles, He was establishing visible victories. Soon you will see that everything He promised was not delayed. It was simply maturing. You cannot measure God's timing with human clocks. His seasons operate outside the logic of this world. One moment of divine favor can accomplish what 10 years of labor could not. That is the power of God's intervention. It does not come in fragments, it comes in fullness. You will wake up one morning and realize the waiting was worth it. You will look around and see that every wound has become a window through which His light shines. You will understand that what seemed like loss was actually divine rearrangement. God had to remove what was temporary to make space for what was eternal. Some of you are standing at the edge of a miracle but cannot see it because it is still hidden behind what feels ordinary. God often disguises extraordinary favor in ordinary circumstances. The conversation that feels casual may carry your next opportunity. The rejection you just faced might be redirecting you to a divine connection. God hides greatness in simplicity so that only those who trust Him will discover it. If you learn to see through the eyes of faith, you will realize that you are surrounded by unseen favor, waiting for the right command from heaven. Do not underestimate what God can do in one moment. It takes Him only a second to shift a lifetime. One decision from His throne can reverse years of struggle. He can restore what was lost, repair what was broken, and renew what was forgotten in an instant. You are about to experience that kind of favor, the kind that makes you forget the pain of the past because of the magnitude of the blessing in the present. The same ground where you once wept will become the ground where you dance. The same people who pitied you will one day seek your counsel. That is the mystery of God's favor. It reverses stories without warning. Sometimes God will close your past so completely that even you will not recognize the person you used to be. You will try to recall the pain, but it will no longer sting. You will think about the nights you cried, but they will feel like someone else's story. When favor touches your life, it transforms not only your circumstances, but also your memory. God will give you such peace that the past loses its power. You will remember where you came from, but you will no longer be chained to it. You are about to witness how God rewards faithfulness. When you thought He was silent, He was watching. When you thought He was still, He was measuring your heart. He saw the moments you refused to compromise. He saw how you continued to love, even when unappreciated. He saw how you shared what little you had. He saw your heart when no one else did. And now, He is about to reward that hidden faith. The light of His favor is about to expose what you carried in darkness. Not shame, but glory. There are blessings that are not given. They are revealed. God is about to reveal what has been prepared for you. It will not come from human effort. It will come from divine release. The right doors will open because it is time. The right people will appear because they were always meant to. The right opportunities will align because destiny cannot be delayed any longer. What was once difficult will become easy. What once required struggle will flow naturally. When God's favor takes over, effort becomes grace. There are days ahead when you will feel an unusual peace, a supernatural ease, a sense that everything is falling into place without explanation. Do not question it. That is the evidence of favor. You will know it when things start to happen faster than you planned, smoother than you expected, and better than you imagined. It will not be coincidence, it will be confirmation. God's favor always leaves a trail of divine fingerprints that no one else can replicate. Remember, this favor has a voice. It speaks louder than your enemies. It silences accusation, cancels opposition, and declares your belonging. When God places His favor upon you, even those who dislike you will be forced to help you. Those who planned your downfall will unintentionally build your platform. Those who dismissed you will have to witness your rise. That is why you must not fight for recognition. Let favor speak for you. Let God's endorsement replace human approval. When heaven backs you, no man can block you. You are entering a divine transition. What once required begging will now require only believing. What once demanded striving will now flow from stillness. Because you have learned to rest in God, He is releasing what you could not obtain by work alone. There is power in surrender. The moment you stop trying to control everything, you make room for God to move. And when God moves, He moves beyond your reach, beyond your plan, beyond your imagination. His favor creates shortcuts where there were once walls. Some of you have been asking, why hasn't it happened yet? But understand this, when God delays, He is not denying, He is developing. He is strengthening your spirit to handle the blessing without losing humility. He is deepening your patience so that when favor arrives, you remain anchored. He is polishing your heart so that your success does not produce pride, but gratitude. The longer the delay, the greater the durability of what's coming. God is not just preparing a blessing for you. He is preparing you for the blessing. The next move of God in your life will be so profound that it will realign everything connected to you, your relationships, your finances, your environment, your mindset. All will shift under the weight of His favor. You will no longer be able to think small or settle for average. God's favor will enlarge your vision and awaken your potential. He will show you that the place where you once survived was never meant to be your final home. Favor moves you from surviving to reigning, from existing to influencing, from hoping to possessing. There will be a moment when everything suddenly makes sense. The pain, the rejection, the waiting, the loneliness. You will look back and see that every step, even the ones you thought were backward, were guiding you toward divine alignment. God wastes nothing. He uses both victories and defeats to build the person you were always meant to become. Every scar will testify that you endured. Every disappointment will reveal that you were redirected, not rejected. And every closed chapter will remind you that God writes better endings than you ever could. When the favor of God finally arrives, it will not tiptoe into your life. It will crash through every wall that once confined you. You will feel the weight of the divine purpose awakening in your spirit. The air around you will shift. What used to drain you will suddenly lose its power. What used to intimidate you will now bow before you. God's favor carries an atmosphere, a spiritual current that changes everything it touches. It will move through your home, your work, your relationships, and your mind, and until everything around you aligns with the promise He placed within you. You will no longer chase after what you once begged for. It will find you because favor magnetizes what belongs to you. You see, when God releases favor, it does not come as a single blessing. It comes as a chain reaction. One door opens, and suddenly another, and another, until your life begins to overflow. You will witness how one conversation changes your direction. One opportunity multiplies your influence. One decision becomes the turning point for your destiny. God's favor operates with precision. Nothing happens by chance. Every divine encounter is a thread woven by His hand to fulfill the pattern of your calling. And when that pattern begins to reveal itself, you will realize that the confusion you once faced was part of a perfect design. There is a season where God hides your value so that when He reveals it, no one can deny that it was Him who elevated you. The people who once ignored you will begin to remember your name. The same environment that rejected you will begin to welcome you. The same systems that once resisted you will begin to work in your favor. Because when God shifts your season, even your surroundings must cooperate with His plan. You will not need to convince anyone. God's evidence will speak louder than your explanation. That is what divine favor does. It announces what human words cannot. Many have mistaken the waiting season as punishment. But waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. God never delays to frustrate, He delays to refine. He gave you everything you asked for. When you asked for it, the blessing might have crushed you. But now, after you have been tested and stretched, Your spirit is strong enough to sustain what He is about to give. The waiting taught you endurance. The silence taught you discernment. And the rejection taught you humility. All of this was training for the weight of favor you are about to carry. The same God who allowed the drought is now releasing the rain. Not a drizzle, but an unstoppable downpour. When favor comes, it will not only elevate you, it will also reveal the motives of those around you. Some will celebrate you because they love the God you serve. Others will envy you because they cannot explain your rise. But do not be shaken. God uses both supporters and opposers to fulfill His plan. The ones who oppose you will unknowingly push you closer to your purpose. Their resistance is confirmation that you have moved into a new realm of divine influence. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Favor needs no defense. The results will speak for themselves. You will soon understand that favor is not just about what you receive. It's about what you become. God is shaping your identity through every moment of faith. He is teaching you how to walk with confidence, not in arrogance, but in awareness that you are chosen. You are favored not because you are better, but because you have been entrusted with a divine assignment. God's favor carries responsibility. He does not bless you to make you comfortable. He blesses you to make you useful. You will become a vessel through which His goodness flows. The world will look at your life and know that only God could have done it. There will be a day very soon when your life will not resemble your past. The struggles that once defined you will fade into memory. The burdens that once weighed you down will turn into testimonies of God's strength. You will walk in rooms you once dreamed about. You will sit at tables you never imagined you'd reach. And you will do it not because of connections or credentials, but because the hand of God is upon you. When His favor marks you, no one can unmark you. His word over your life becomes law. His command overrides the opinions of people. His timing cancels every delay. Some of you have been overlooked for years, hidden behind others, watching as they were celebrated while you remained unseen. But what you did not realize was that God was protecting you from premature exposure. He was keeping you out of sight until the moment you were ready to shine without burning out. Now that the refining is complete, He will bring you out of hiding. The same stage that once ignored, you will now spotlight you. The same environment that resisted, you will now require your wisdom. When God's favor reveals you, you don't have to promote yourself. His power will do it for you. Do not be afraid when the favor of God starts to disturb your comfort zone. True favor is disruptive. It shifts you from where you're being safe to where you must be significant. It challenges you to grow, to believe bigger, to move beyond the limits of the familiar. God will not allow you to remain in small places when His plan for you is vast. The favor coming upon you will demand faith, courage, and obedience. It will require you to walk where logic says you shouldn't, to believe what sight says is impossible, and to expect what others have stopped praying for. God's favor will also restore what you lost. It will not only return what was taken, but multiply it. For every moment you were overlooked, there will be double honor. For every tear you shed, there will be multiplied joy. For every rejection, there will be divine redirection leading to greater fulfillment. God does not forget pain. He transforms it into purpose. He does not waste loss. He converts it into lessons that strengthen your spirit. When the favor arrives, you will not merely recover, you will reign. You will rise not as who you were, but as who God always intended you to be. And in that moment, you will realize that the favor of God is not random. It is strategic. It chooses those who can carry the weight of responsibility with humility. You are not being blessed just for yourself. You are being blessed to bless others. God will use your story to lift others from despair. He will use your voice to restore hope where it has died. He will use your breakthrough to show that His power is still alive and active. You are a living testimony in motion, a demonstration of divine power wrapped in human skin. When people see your rise, they will ask how it happened. They will search for explanations, for logic, for strategy. But you will know the truth. It was not your effort. It was not your network. It was not your brilliance. It was God. It was His hand, His mercy, His plan. You will not be able to take credit because the evidence will be too divine. Every area of your life will carry a glow of favor that cannot be explained by human reasoning. You will stand in awe of how everything that once resisted you now works for you. So prepare yourself. Favor is not coming someday. It is approaching now. Even as you read these words, God is aligning circumstances, adjusting timing, and softening hearts to favor you. He is shifting the spiritual atmosphere around your life. What once seemed stagnant is now vibrating with divine activity. The waiting season has expired. You are stepping into the hour of revelation. And when it happens, it will happen fast. Too fast for fear, too powerful for doubt, too clear for coincidence. The favor of God will shock you soon. It will turn impossibilities into testimonies. It will move mountains that generations before you could not move. It will rewrite your family's story. It will silence voices that once declared you finished. It will make you a vessel of evidence that God is alive, that His power is real, and that His timing is perfect. Stay faithful. Stay pure in your intentions. Stay connected to God even when blessings overflow. For favor without faithfulness fades. But favor anchored in devotion endures forever. God is not finished. He is just beginning to reveal what He has been preparing for you all along. And when it unfolds, the world will not just see your success, they will see God through you.